Hello and welcome back. Are you ready for what we have this episode? Proc R, new capabilities in SAS Studio, and a better way to build your decisions. Let's get right into it. We are starting things off in intelligent decisioning, where we have a new node type when we are building decisions. This will enable us to build out decisions faster than before. It's an awesome way to also prototype things as we are building our decision, testing things through, and then either leaving it as is or moving it into a more formalized structure through business rules, for example. What is that? Well, we have this new node type available to us called the variable assignment. This allows us to easily assign a value to a variable within the decision itself, without having to go to a business rule, for example, to do that assignment. Of course, this node type is also available through the objects pane, where you can drag and drop it onto your decision. Now, this is especially useful when you have like branching logic, and if you're like me that first likes to build their decisions on a whiteboard and kind of brainstorm how things should work, and then you can more easily translate, iterate on top of here. Let us add a new variable into our decision here by creating a custom one. We're calling it test, adding a character one. Test2 will be just a decimal one. And then finally, we'll do test3 for a date time variable. I'm gonna click add and then say OK. And then we will move to our assignment node, where we can now go ahead and add an assignment where we select first our string variable. And of course, we can enter the values here that we want to assign. Let's also take a look at our numeric variable, and then finally our datetime variable that we have. And here you can see a very nice feature that you don't have to know how to notate this, but you can just select it from the calendar. And off we go. Now we assign those three values in our decision. Of course, as always, I recommend you give your nodes meaningful names and also descriptions to enhance the documentation and also to help out others when they pick up where you left off. Really an amazing feature that will help speed up my work in every day. Now let's move over into SAS Studio, where we will first look at a new feature introduced to SAS Studio flows. Let us start off by adding a SAS program to our node here. And in this code, we want to do something like a simple put statement, maybe, where we want to put out a variable called test and write it to the log. Now, of course, the issue is I don't have a variable called test assigned here. So what we can do is go to the right-hand side where you already know we have the properties pane, we have the swim lanes, and we have the status handling. Now we have a fourth one called parameters. We can go ahead and add a parameter here where we give it a name. Now, of course, we're going to use test. We can give it a meaningful description, and then we can say if we want the user to be prompted when they run the flow. And we can also specify if we want to make it required. Then moving to the properties, we can control how it shows up and behaves when it interacts with the user. So we can have different control types, making it easy for the end user to select appropriate values. So for example, having a drop-down list if only certain things are allowed, or a datetime picker to run it for a specific month, for example. Then we have a label that the user will see. So we can do something like this is just a test. Then we can specify the type. Do we want to have text? Do we want to have numeric or validation? This again is of course in conjunction with the control type. We can give it a default value. So let's say something like hello. Or we could also specify just a placeholder text to guide your users on what they should be doing. Let's hit OK. And now on our SAS program, we can go to the node and go to the parameters and then add our test parameter to it. And now if we hit run, we will be prompted for the input of our parameter. So let's say hello world, hit OK. Now the execution continues and we can go to our log and look for our test equals hello world. Really awesome functionality. I know that a lot of people will really rejoice this functionality being available within SAS Studio to pre-build a flow for your end users, and then they can kind of customize it during runtime with specified parameters. And now, the big highlight feature of this month is the introduction of Proc R. This is the equivalent to the existing Proc Python procedure that has been around in SAS Viya for a while now. And this enables you to run R code within SAS. You can interact, you can put data back into SAS, you can pull data from SAS. You can have multiple R runtimes. You can, of course, customize which packages are available and all of these things. So let me quickly submit this code so you can see it running and outputting a result that was generated in R back to SAS. And if you really want to dig into it, because there's a lot of features and capabilities, the example I just showed you is pulled straight from the documentation. There is so much cool stuff for our developers in here. And now you really have no more limits within SAS. You can just write your SAS code, then hand it over to Python, back into SAS, over to R, and mix and match those languages to best fulfill your needs and use every language to its full potential. Really awesome integration that has been made available here. Okay. Now, let us take a look at the cool new articles that have been published in the last month on the SAS communities. First up, building applications faster with SAS OpenAPI specifications and GitHub Copilot in VS Code. We have previously talked about how you can now download the OpenAPI specs from the developer.sas.com site. And this post dives into how you can utilize those files together with AI to help you build applications on top of SAS. Next up, a topic that's always of interest is how you can use a parameter to drive a dynamic reference line within your graphs in SAS Visual Analytics. And finally, an article that deep dives how easy it can be to just publish and make available a new large language model within your environment using the SAS Agentic AI Accelerator. Awesome blog post, please check it out. And then we are ending things on 2 new custom steps that have been released in the last month. First up is export flow code. It does exactly that. You give it a flow and it gives you the .sas file containing all that code in return. And finally, another step in the universe of visual analytics automation that allows you to copy a report and replace data sources while you're at it. Very cool new feature. Now, I hope you are ready and check out all these cool new features. They have me buzzing like no other, and I'll see you next time. Bye bye.